Welcome back, guys, to another video. We're getting really close to the draft, as in you're going to be seeing this the day before the draft. It's draft eve. So I'm here to give you a Rams video for those of you who have hung in there waiting for Rams content. This is going to be kind of a prediction, but in a sense, it's going to be kind of just telling you who I really feel like the Rams are going to draft. So this is entirely a mock draft that I believe the Rams are going to pick these players, and I could be entirely wrong, but I kind of feel good about it. And obviously, I'm not going to get them all right. That's ridiculous. But if I do, then maybe I should look for another job and do whatever it is that I'm doing, because that's like Oracle type stuff. So as always, this is brought to you by Manscaped. You can go over to manscaped.com. You can type in JKB as the promo code. You'll get 20% off and you'll get free shipping off your order at Manscaped. So we're going to get into this. We're going to dive in. Pick 57, believe it or not, I do not have the Rams trading it away. I think that they're going to stay at 57. I think they're going to trade their second, third round pick. So what I decided to go with is I'm going to have them taking Ifeatu Melifonwu, cornerback from Syracuse. Look, they have been really trending in this direction. You have multiple mock drafts from Rams insiders that are literally mocking them a cornerback at the top. Jordan Rodriguez, friend of the show, has indeed mocked Ifeatu Melifonwu to the Rams within the last few mock drafts she's done. I tend to believe there's a chance he's not there. He's a fantastic talent. He's my fourth cornerback in this draft out of Syracuse. Him and Trill Williams were very important to that secondary, as well as safety Andre Cisco. But the Rams here are doing something. It's very simple. Okay. While everybody has it pegged that they're going to take a slot corner, I wouldn't be so sure about that, because if they take a slot corner, yeah, sure, that's great, right? But what about Darius Williams? He's only on a 1-year deal. It's not guaranteed he's going to even be re-signed. So, with that being said, I feel like with this guy, you're getting a guy at 6'2". You're getting a guy that's a very big time athlete. His RAS score was 969. So he has one of the best relative athletic scores that you can have in this draft. Like I said, he's my fourth cornerback. He's rangy. This is a guy that can get physical. He's a great tackler. So I like his fit with the Rams. I do believe that ultimately, if they make a selection early on, you're going to have Asante Samuel Jr., who they've already met with multiple times. He is not going to be there. So because of that, you're going to be looking at guys like Paulson Adebo out of Stanford, Elijah Molden, who I'm not as high on, out of Washington, among other guys. And I think Melifonwu has a chance to be here, and this is ultimately where I believe that they would go. I love Peyton Turner, the edge defender out of Houston. I just don't think he's going to make it to this pick. And if he does, then I've already decided on my final mock draft, which you can catch on my show with Cole Thompson, which is the last video I put out. I went with Peyton Turner over Melifonwu, but I don't think the Rams would do that. So the Rams get their cornerback. They get insurance for Darius Williams. They bring back Darius Williams, all the power to them. That means they have three really good corners. But Melifonwu has a chance to be very good for a long time in this league. So moving on, the Rams make do of not having a first-round pick. They get a great corner in Melifonwu, and now they go in at 88 in the third round. They're going to go out and get an edge defender that was highly productive, former Temple edge defender. Now he transfers over to Miami, has himself a good year. That is Quincy Roche. And Quincy Roche, very solid player. He's not what you would look for as an ultra athletic pass rusher. He's a guy that's very solid. He's going to get things done. He's going to be a 10.5 sack a season type of guy. I think he's going to add a lot of stability. And I think the Rams, they could go ultra athletic. They could go in that route. They could go raw, but I think they feel like they have that in Terrell Lewis. He's just never healthy. I feel like they really like Justin Hollins, but they like him as more of a do it all type of guy, right? A glue guy, if you will. Quincy Roche is very solid. So when you get a guy like, say, Leonard Floyd, who they re-signed for the next 4 years, now you have Roche, who's just rock solid at that position. He's not going to blow you away. He's a top 10 edge defender in this class, but he's not going to blow you away by any stretch. I think that's definitely a route that they could go. Now, I'm not going to say if, a big time edge defender like a Gregory Rousseau falls here, that they would opt to go with a guy who feels more NFL ready. But, stranger things have happened. I kind of feel like Quincy Roche, I can already hear it, and I can see, the graphic below with the Rams helmet and Quincy Roche next to it. Moving on, we have pick 120 after a trade with New England. A few picks are going back here. So this is a little interesting, this trade. I decided to go with it. I felt like this is the best course of action. So the Rams are trading the 103 pick and the 252nd pick. So a third and a seventh for a fourth, fifth, and seventh from the New England Patriots. So they get 120, 177, and 242. I like this because Les Snead is traded with the Patriots multiple times. So I do feel like there's familiarity there. They can get, stuff done. But I also like it because I could see the Patriots, if they don't address the quarterback position early on in the draft, they could be looking at a guy like Kellen Mond here to develop behind Jameis Winston or a Kyle Trask or somebody along those lines. So that's why I feel like they could trade up about 17 spots here. And so that's why I made that trade. Now the Rams, why does this make sense for the Rams? Well, they haven't traded down yet. You want to get that fifth round pick because you don't have one. And that distance between the fourth and the sixth is brutal. And you also don't have a regular fourth round pick. You have a supplemental pick, or rather a compensatory pick that you received for the loss of Corey Littleton. So with that being said, we're not going to select down a linebacker. No, we're actually going to go and get them a guy that they met with. None of the two guys that I mentioned earlier they met with, but we're going to go get him Emir Smith-Marsette, the speedy wide receiver, 6'2", out of Iowa. This guy runs like a gazelle. He can stretch the field. He can go up and pluck the ball out of the air. He's a very, very smooth wide receiver. But more importantly, he's going to be there as insurance in case Deshaun Jackson gets hurt, which is very likely. And on top of that, he's going to be there for the long haul. So I really like that fit. The Rams, like I said, have already met with him. I definitely see the fit there. I would prefer Simi Fehoko out of Stanford. He's one of my favorite receivers in this draft, but I ultimately believe that they will opt to go with a guy that they've met in Emir Smith-Marsette if he's there at pick 120. Now, moving on, the Rams do have a 141 pick that wasn't part of the deal, and they're going to go out and they're going to address the offensive line. They're going to do so with Drew Dahlman. Familiarity stays in the building, so they go out and they grab Kevin Carberry, as their new offensive line coach. Well, what better way to bring him in than bring in his center, Drew Dahlman? Dahlman really fits the bill and looks exactly like a center that they would target. More of kind of a, close to 300-pounder, not anybody, physically imposing or anything along those lines, and more of like a 6'3" type of guy instead of a 6'5". Moves well, gets to the second level, tested out of this world at the pro day. So I think this is somebody that ultimately they would opt for, just a better version of like a guy like Brian Allen, who's kind of built the same, but Dahlman gets to the second level. He doesn't get hurt consistently, and he offers more punch behind that. So look, I'll be honest with you. I would love Kendrick Green here. I could see Kendrick Green here. I do think Dahlman, I've kind of sold on the idea that Dahlman will end up being a Ram or Walker Little. They'll get somebody from Stanford for Carberry, and it makes sense. You have that familiarity. And if you're going to start a center day one in front of Matthew Stafford, what better way to start a rookie center than get a guy that has familiarity with the offensive line coach? Ideally, you wouldn't want that. And if Austin Reeder isn't in the plans, or they don't plan on moving Corbett, then they're probably going to do this, and I'm okay with it if, it means that he's going to be reunited with Carberry. There's a good chance that could really work out. Pick 177. So the Rams have a 5th-round pick because of the trade that we made with New England, and they're going to select here edge defender Chauncey Golston out of Iowa. So they go with 2 Iowa guys in this draft. Here's the reason, okay? Chauncey Golston has some really good tape. He didn't end up being in my top 10 of edge defenders, just like Dahlman kind of fell right outside. Amir Smith-Marsette fell right outside. Quincy Roche was actually a top 10 pass rusher I had in the draft, and Ifeatu Melifonwu was 4th at cornerback. But Chauncey Golston, I'll tell you right now, he's got some good film. He flashes. And most importantly, I really like Eric Banks out of UTSA, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams are looking to kind of replace that Morgan Fox role. And while we call him an edge defender, Chauncey Golston, I think, is more of a 4-3 defensive end, which in a sense kind of makes him a tweener, which in a sense puts him in position to replace a guy who was a tweener, who actually became a really big contributor last year for the #1 defense, and that was Morgan Fox. So Chauncey Golston here, it's a good pickup. He did have a good, RAS score. This is somebody here in the 5th round, probably shouldn't be here, but he is, and this is the pick. And then at 209 here, we're going to go and select Garrett Wallow out of TCU. Now, the Rams, I would have liked them to select a linebacker earlier, but the way I see the Rams operating is that they'll select a linebacker a lot later than people are expecting. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would absolutely love Dylan Moses. I'm hoping they pick Dylan Moses. I'm hoping they pick Cameron McGrone, somebody like that. But Garrett Wallow is my number 9th linebacker. Wallow is a former safety transferred to a linebacker, so the same thing goes for a TCU linebacker already on the roster in Traven Howard. Look, I think Garrett Wallow comes into the league and automatically is one of the better linebackers on the Rams. This is a guy that's extremely athletic, can go sideline to sideline, can rush the passer, has ability to cover. He's flying a little bit under the radar here, and so the Rams are going to scoop him up at 209, and don't be surprised if he ends up winning a starting gig because he is legit for sure. Now, my final pick here for the Rams, it was, again, part of that trade with New England. Remember, the Rams gave up 252, but they also got 242, so they moved up 10 spots because of that trade, and that trade ultimately got them Cameron Bynum out of California. For whatever reason, he's also falling under the radar a little bit. And the thing with Cameron Bynum is he is not the quick twitch athlete. He is not a explosive athlete. But once again, very overall, very solid, well-rounded game. And when you're looking for a guy that can play on the boundary, I think this is a guy that has, 6-foot size, 180 pounds, moves pretty well. He's just not an explosive athlete. He's good enough for the NFL, and he's feisty enough. He's got great timing. He's going to go up there and swat the ball, but he can also, make a pick here and there. Cameron Bynum is just a nice add to the depth of this team. They don't have to go crazy here. Again, depth of this team. You're picking late in the 7th. There's another option here. I don't know if they've met with him, but Mark Gilbert's another one. Has first-round tape from 2017, but has had, a flurry of injuries. Has bloodlines, going back to Darrelle Revis. And then, of course, his uncle played for the Rams, was drafted by the Rams. So Gilbert out of Duke could have been an option here. But I do think that they go with a guy like Cameron Bynum from the area, from California. I think that makes a lot of sense. And of course, they're going to hit a home in free agency. They do it every year, undrafted rookie free agency. There are definitely some guys out there. I won't go through all the names, but that's my thoughts there. Just to recap, we have Ifeatu Melifonwu from Syracuse going 57. We have Quincy Roche from Miami going 88th. We have at 120 Amir Smith-Marsette, 141 Drew Dahlman out of Stanford, 177 Chauncey Golston out of Iowa. 209 we have Garrett Wallow out of TCU, and finally wrapping it up, we have cornerback Cameron Bynum out of California. He graded right outside of my top 10. I think he's very good. And again, I think he's flying under the radar. So this is how I see the Rams draft going. It could obviously go multiple ways. It could go a multitude of ways. They could literally shock everybody and pick a wide receiver at 57 again when they picked Van Jefferson. But we'll see. You guys let me know. Again, this is the Jake Ellenbogen channel. It is brought to you by Manscaped. You can be sure to subscribe, hit that bell icon. You'll get all my videos as soon as they come out. You'll get an alert. Be sure to comment below, hit that thumbs up. That definitely helps me out. But also keep this in mind. We have a pretty awesome show planned for you guys. Actually, it's a 3-day event. It is going to be the AJ show teaming up with Downtown Rams. And basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be covering all 3 days of the NFL draft in its entirety. We have 8 p.m. Eastern time for day 1, so night 1. If you have nothing to do, definitely come on by, hang out with us. We're going to be in studio on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time until whenever it ends. And then Friday, it's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern time until whenever it ends. And then Sunday, it's going to be noon until 7. We might have some, UDFA breakdown, stuff like that. We'll see how it goes. We're going to be in studio. It's going to be me, Alexis Kraft, and Adam Grego. So I hope you guys can join us there. That's going to do it. For Rams fans out there, we do have a Downtown Rams. We now have a Downtown Rams official YouTube account. So be sure to subscribe to that as well. But that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoy, and you guys take care. See you guys soon.